Road to 30,000 subscribers na tayo mga ka-hunter, kaya mamimigay tayo ng additional na 2,000 pesos worth of prizes once we reach 30,000.
Congratulations to all the winners!
Hello mga ka-hunter! I'm Cath. Welcome back to our channel na kung saan mag-hunting tayo at magbibigay ako ng mga ideya where to find side hustle, home-based jobs, and ESL jobs. I am very excited and happy to share this episode to you dahil someone will share us about something na makakatulong sa atin upang we will become knowledgeable about freelancing and how to get clients immediately. Kaya tapusin ang video na ito so you won't miss any details and get a chance and opportunity to know about freelancing.
If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell para lagi kang updated.
Good morning sa ating lahat, sa aking mga viewers. I am very excited to share this episode to you dahil meron tayong guest ngayon, si Miss Olivia. She will share her story and talk about freelancing. So bago natin simulan ang ating topic ngayon, Miss Olivia, good morning. Can you tell me about yourself and what do you do po?
Hi, I'm Olivia Escartin. Para Miss Universe lang yung pitch. But so what do? I wear a few hats. I have a digital marketing agency. I also have a corporate management role right now. And I still do have freelancing gigs on the side.
Okay po. So ngayon, sabi mo may corporate job ka.
Yes.
So paano niyo i-manage yung pagiging freelancer at saka yung job ninyo, current job?
Yes. Okay, good question. So, I've actually been away from any corporate for 6 years now. So, recently, I just had a corporate. Anything kasi that is not just to begin with. Anything that is related to freelancing, to be very clear about it. If it's not under a business name, if it's not under a corporate work, it's technically freelancing. No, it means na hindi ka regular worker or you're not actually part of the business or hindi ka yung employer. So anything that you would be doing is technically freelancing.
Sige, ano po yung freelancing? Kasi you have mentioned about freelancing.
Freelancing is can be a short-term or long-term gig. No, na you are not really attached from the company. You can work remotely anywhere in the world. It can be in the Philippines as long as may internet ka, So that is a simplified version of freelancing. Now that is yung modern, yung digital freelancing that most people are looking after. No? But way back in the days, bilang history ng content. Dati ang tawag lang dyan parang raffle. Perceived before, hindi pa naman uso dati internet. So, like me, as an artist, tumatanggap ako ng mga, pa-caricature naman dyan, pa-drawing ng ganito. So, that itself is freelancing already. So, yun. Ngayon, nagbago lang, nag-adapt, digital freelancing, online. Yeah. So, very techy, very different, very aggressive.
So, paano po maging freelancer? Gaya ninyo, sabi niyo, you're an artist. So, paano niyo ginagawa? Ano yung focus sa racket ninyo?
And also to answer the question kanina, how do you manage your time? I would use the word priority management. No, it's not time management. We only have 24 hours in a day. So, there's nothing you can do with time. But you can change your priorities. Yeah. So, to go back to your question now is, I started freelancing, yung traditional freelancing, let's go back in time a little bit. No, high school pa lang, yung gusto mong makabili ng ice cream. Yeah, so, may mga magpapadrawing pag may mga tamad, gumawa ng assignment. Yung first target market, yung wala silang drawing talent and tamad. So, yun yung customer avatar ko when I was a student. Then, moving forward, as na-discover ko talaga na talent and skills ko, and then I took Every summer, may mga workshops, my mom, specifically, kasi yung dad ko naman, sige, okay, nagbayad lang ko na. But my mom specifically, really, parang babasahin pa siya sa mga diary na, uy, may ganitong classifieds, may ganitong workshop. Gusto mo anak, ayun, ganun dati. So, ako nung kuha ng course, crash course pa lang noon, hindi pa ako college. Hindi dahil sa gusto ko kumita ng pera. Hindi sa hindi natin kailangan ng pera, no? But the motivation behind it was to learn. Yung enthusiasm, just, you have to feel like a kid that you want to learn a lot. So, nadala ko yung ganung habit until I was working na sa corporate na yung nauso yung nagsimula ako ng technically sa Fiverr. Yan. So that's my first online freelancing sa Fiverr. I didn't know where to start. Kumbaga parang my sister was studying yung niche marketing. Dati yung mga uso sina Adam Short, I forgot the other names, yun yung tawag dati sa mga, nagbabago na yung tawag eh. So ako naman, I focus on Fiverr kasi based on services.
Mm-mm.
So my first gig was coloring ng mga comics. Ganun. Yun yung first gig ko online. So that was just done on the side. Tapos yun yung ginamit ko pambili ng iMac.
I just realized now na matagal na talaga ako sa freelancing kasi I'm working in the office before. Merong yung mga boardmates ko, parents ng mga boardmates ko, sabi, naghahanap ng mga tutor. So, yun, para sa kanilang mga anak. So, I just realized, so, yun na pala, yun talaga yung freelancing. Like, on the other side, yung racket mo while you have also another job.
Oo, yes. Oh, kasi when you're working, you're not doing anything else, right? So, you're being very polite. And I guess something that siguro just for the understanding of others, kasi may mga iba, hindi na nakakapag-corporate job sa simula, no? Especially with the pandemic. So I guess I just wanted to mention also that when you have a corporate job or employment, you have to respect that. When we say respect, you don't talk about the freelancing work sa trabaho mo. You also parang, you have to look at your social media presence then. How do you project, no? So baka may mga guidelines sila sa HR, baka may mga nakalagay sa contract that you should be aware of. So, hindi natin matatanggal yun or makakaila na when you pag sinabi natin corporate is SSS, pag-ibig, yan. Pero kung wala ka nun, at hindi ka naman na self-employed, anything else, that's freelancing.
What are the basic skills that we need at saka yung mga tools?
So, ang first tool natin, kailangan internet. No, you have to have a stable source of internet. Others are, being creative if mobile hotspot yan or but we're now very lucky that the fiber technology is available. Way back in the days, for 4 or 5 Mbps, dati mabilis na yun. No? So, huwag na natin tingnan yung taon. Tools. First is internet. Second is computer No, you can get second-hand computer if sobrang desperate, or may ibang technique, you can buy tablet and then Bluetooth keyboard. And it can be as that, no? Kasi basta may access ka sa email, that's one. Now, others would go to a computer shop. Well, okay lang kung mapapagkatiwalaan mo yung shop, pero you are always at risk in exposing your password. So, I probably say invest in a cheap computer if you don't have one yet, or manghiram ka sa family mo. That can be a beginning. And then third is phone for OTP and communications. WhatsApp, Viber, that's client work or Slack. So those are the 3 things. Kasi yung pang-apat, sarili mo, the skills that you need to improve on is communication. So may talent ka nga, or hindi ka naman makapag-communicate, it's still not gonna be sustainable. What do I mean by that? May kliyente ka, hindi ka nakakapag-usap na maayos, ano ba yung mga kailangan na mga detalye, ganyan, schedule. So, pagka hindi ka nakakapag-communicate, hindi mo naman kailangan perfect English Minsan, yung mga prospect client naman, hindi naman fluent English speaking, diba? So, communication is key. It looks very general, pero kung papansinin nyo ngayon, look around you, paano ba mag-usap ang mga tao, di ba? Marami kakaroon ng misunderstanding because of miscommunication. Next tool, negotiation. Yan. So, ano ko to this is basically a personal insight mo. Negotiation, because when it comes to negotiation, it's not about the price. It's also the service that you are supposed to offer, the promise that you have to deliver. So you have to negotiate kasi galing kang magpag-communicate pero lugi ka naman dun sa price mo. So you have to be able to negotiate. Yan. So skills yun. So baka yung iba nag-expect, uy, ano ba, Photoshop ako? Hindi. Wala pa tayo sa ganung stage. And then after the negotiation, very obvious naman yung reason for that. The other skills is organizational skills. Kasi, if you look at it, how do you organize yourself? Hindi ka naman sinasabi kailangan cozy ka. So, for example, ako artist ako, or before ko naisip na anong service yung offer ko, I had to organize myself. So, parang there are two meanings na sinabi kong organizational skills na. It's more of organizing to prioritize alin yung service na ibibigay mo. Skills is yung documentation. Yun ang pinakamahirap din kasi. So, for example, me, highly creative, on the fly, gano'n. Pero low contract, invoice. And so, freelancing is also a business. Kaya kung titignan nyo lahat ng mga binanggit ko, it's very business-like. Itong isa, it's actually research skills. Kasi kahit anong niche, kahit anong demographics, you always have to make a research, would it be about creating your own profile or knowing more about your client. Ako din naman, kahit nabanggit ko na may mga courses akong kinuha, pero lahat yun nagsimula sa research. Lahat, no? So, for example, yung marami naman, nag-search ka how to do freelancing, gano'n. So, that's how people end up knowing other mga freelancing gurus, freelancing coaches. So, you have to research. Hindi yung parang, pag hindi mo kasi ni-research na maayos, wala kang due diligence, pwede ka maska.
So, who can be a freelancer? Kasi you have mentioned those skills at saka your tools.
Anybody can be a freelancer. As simple as that. Ang kailangan lang is kung prepared yung tao, kung handa. And there's no right or wrong answer with it. It's more of a journey that one person has to do. Maaring ba, ngayong araw, mag-decide ka na, freelancing na ako. So, it really begins with that. Even sa corporate, more of a referral Like, may ganito yung nahanap. So, it's just being out there, you know what you can do, you know yung pwede mong i-offer. But yeah, anybody can be a freelancer basta handa ka na to do that freelancing and treat it like a business.
What is the possible range of salary someone gets a freelancer? Like you started sa Fiverr. So, magkano yung unang naging sahod mo sa Fiverr at saka yung tuloy-tuloy na as freelancer?
So there are two ways to get income as a freelancer. They even use the salary very seldom as a term. It's parang sometimes you may get a short-term gig on a per hour basis. Some do get fees or pwede natin sabihin wages, but it's more of a fee na on a monthly basis para naka-sum up lang. Or yung iba may mga per project. No? So, ang dami, no? There are three ways. Pero to compare the word freelancing also sa business terms, no? It is also treated like an independent contractor dito locally. Parang freelancer is almost similar to an independent contractor. So, yun, walang employee-employer relationship. Now, the salary really ranges from different, kasi may mga VA na yung mga hindi alam kung ano yung offer nilang skills, they're afraid na wala silang maging project, they end up starting being a virtual assistant. Ibig sabihin, kahit anong mga skills na pang online ginagawa nila, medyo parang administrative, most of them. Stamps starts at ano, pero that's, I just heard na parang 3, 4, 5. Decision nila yon to take that na kung may mabasa kayo na ganung post na yun yung ino-offer, hayaan nyo na kasi yun naman yung afford ng company. Kesa naman sa mag-promise sila ng magandang bigay, hindi naman nila mabigay. So, kasi malamang marami silang kinukuha. But anyway, going back is others can earn that much, no? Others do get at least $200 a month. Yun yung mga normal, easy entry point. Sa iba, well, sky's the limit eh. May mga iba, kumikita na at least $1,000 sa isang social media management gig every month. No? So, and then you can take multiple clients basta kaya mo. No? Then, siguro kung meron ka namang assistants, you can take in much more. So, very, very flexible.
So what is the pros and cons of working from home?
Working from home, sabihin lahat na expenses mo on your own. Ako personally, I don't use pirated softwares. It's an investment. So, yun yung pros and cons. Investing in your own tools. Hindi katulad ng company, isuan mo ka ng laptop, isuan mo ka ng ganito, diba? Karga lahat sa company. Number 2 is discipline. If you lack discipline, it will be a bit difficult. So you have to learn to be disciplined. For those who are very disciplined and time-oriented, another cons would be wala kang benefits. Now, your benefits is also at your own expense. Others would tend to go to the corporate or public service because they have GSIS, SSS, because they now have family. So if mag-freelancing ka at magkasakit yung anak or ganyan, or kung anong kailangan, you cannot use freelancing as something that you can get benefits from. Although may mga nagbibigay ng mga HMO, pero ano yun ibang klaseng HMO, yung pwede, parang limited. But at least meron, no? Other global clients are very, alam nila kung may way sila to give Filipinos HMOs. No? So nag-a-adapt din yung HMO industry. Pros, syempre maraming pros, no? You work at your own time, your own pace. Kung bagay yung pace mo, basta yun yung pinamit mo sa client mo, deliver mo, that's your own pace. Other people would say ikaw yung boss. Pero I have a different perspective on that day. Mas madami yung boss mo ngayon kasi mas direct mo makakausap. I mean, that's how I see it. So, you end up being yes, you're a boss of your own time, pero you're now directly dealing with mga boss. Unlike
Marami kang commitments.
Yung commitment, so it's really handy yung mga commitments. So that's one. And then another pros is mas malaki yung opportunity mo makakuha ng mas malaking bayad. Hindi ka sa corporate o sa iba, mabagal, di ba?
Tapos fix.
May mga inflation, ganyan, fixed. Unlike sa freelancing, gusto mo pa isang client, kaya mo. Or mag-negotiate ka, pwede, let's say, yung mga expert na dyan, pwede magsabi na, hey, I think this new task is not part of our scope of work, ganyan, tapos mag-a-upsell yung iba. So, opportunity is very flexible, very liquid.
Yun yung kagandahan.
Ang payment, kadalasan, hindi ko sasabing lagi. Yung iba parang monthly, yung iba, so may option iba upfront yung bayad.
Yun ang kagandahan sa freelancing. Unlike sa working in the office, talagang fix, tapos magtagal pa, mag-increase. So yun.
Ayoko naman i-highlight na yung iba kumikita ng dollar kasi hindi naman lahat ng freelancing are global no? May mga freelancing naman local. So I didn't really highlight na you can earn in dollars. And I want this to pang universal yung approach ng answer.
Example, ako beginner kasi ako sa freelancing. So paano ba ako magsimula? Ano bang mga kailangan kong gawin?
What others do, they find lead generation experts. No? Other lead generation experts will do some partnerships na sige, ano yung gusto mo offer, tapos mag-usap kayo ng profit sharing, or kung profit sharing sa project or kada leads na nakakonvert. So, pwedeng ganon. Yung iba naman, nagpo-post sa Upwork, one of the most popular tools online where freelancers get to find their clients. So, ito yung parang organic way of finding clients. The other one is onlinejobs.ph. No? There are many other platforms na pwede naman mag-find ng clients. May isa din, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional networking site. Ako personally sa Facebook, yung Facebook ko, if you see my Facebook profile, it's curated like a business.
So, ano ba yung mga courses na i-recommend mo or saan ba tayo pupunta?
I first encountered the term freelancing way back 2000. Nahiya ako dun sa year. I think I first encountered these terms way back 2008, 9, ganyan na. And very, very lucky yung mga freelancers ngayon. Kasi dati, pag maghanap kami, parang hindi mo lang kasi maghanap eh. Madalas pang foreigner lang yung mga available courses. Now in the Philippines, if you're looking for ways and means to learn about freelancing na hindi ka maliligaw, Freelance Movement Tribe, they're actually, if not the biggest, they're actually one of the most trusted places to freelancers can learn about freelancing. So, pero kahit ganun, no, ang daming mga veterano nandun pa rin. They stick around, they stay there kasi it's not just a course, it's a lifestyle. You basically have a community, they have their knowledge base, and then parang hindi parang it becomes like parang kayo nasa isang, kung may metaverse lang ng freelancing, you could imagine it's a whole ecosystem. So different skills, no, different professionals, may iba nasa corporate are there. So at least kahit pa paano, anybody from different locations or different industries, kahit pa paano, I expect that they can relate to someone inside the tribe. Kaya siya lumalaki kasi nangyari, they're helping each other. Hindi siya yung parang, pagpasok doon, bahala ka na sa buhay mo. That's our greatest frustration when we have mga online courses na, sign up ka lang, tapos na. Kung napapansin niyo yung mga online courses or other programs, pag sinabi nila may community sila, medyo, kumbaga, at least makikita nyo, mas may malasakit. Or, kumbaga, medyo mas long-term yung purpose na. Yung mga courses naman na walang community, well, it has a different purpose. So, I guess for those na talagang walang alam, zero, nada, talagang flat, sila mag-tingin sa tribe, I think, ang swerte nila kasi nung nagsisimula yun dati hindi ganun kadaming free content and mga groups. So yeah, anyone else who would like to start, they can check out yung Freelance Movement Tribe.
So I think I will try to check also Tribe Movement kasi I think makakatulong yan. So what's your advice to all the beginners like me if I want to enter into freelancing?
For mga beginners, I guess what I would say is, ayaw ko gamitin yung word na just do it. There's something better. Just start. It is not wrong to overthink. Ayan. So, kasi introvert ako. So, kasi medyo I've been seeing a lot of posts about overthinking and overthinking is not wrong if it's your default baseline. Pero yung action ang kailangan. So, just take action. Start somewhere. I will never know, not unless I begin. Kaya nakakapagkwento ko ng ganito kasi ang ginawa ko, sinimulan ko lang.
Thank you for that, Miss Olivia. I think wala na yata akong tanong. So, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I guess, what's important this time, times are changing, nag-evolve yan. Ang importante is to keep yourself healthy, yung state of mind, mental health, and physical health. If you don't feel well, you cannot work well. Best to keep your self away from too much negativity kasi sasabayan sa trabaho na.
So that's it mga ka-hunter. Sobrang ganda na maging freelancer dahil you will get a lot of opportunities. Lalaki din ang income mo. At the same time, you will have more time for yourself and for your family. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell para lagi kang updated. And to have other options, you can also check my other videos. Also, follow our Facebook page for more hiring updates at saka posting of our winners. Thank you for always watching and happy hunting!